Good morning. Welcome to the Earth Observation and Artificial Intelligence for Health and Urban Resilience workshop. It's a pleasure to have all the distinguished speakers here with us, as well as all the participants following us in live streaming. The workshop objectives are to identify the current main challenges related to global health and Earth observation at large by increasing the awareness among institutional and private sector representatives about the ESA Earth observation application programs and identifying the knowledge gaps in the health domain. The second main objective is to discuss with scientists, policymakers, and industry the most pressing needs and information requirements by initiating a dialogue between stakeholders on Earth observation applied research for health, identifying the most pressing challenges and potential synergies among current and future activities. The third objective of the workshop is to provide users and stakeholders with Earth observation data, resources, and capabilities. By strengthening the international collaborations in the resilience domain, by addressing various health-related environmental monitoring aspects with big data analytics and artificial intelligence techniques, including monitoring of the effects of climate change and pollution on human health, particularly in the urban environment, addressing vector-borne diseases, in particular zoonosis, such as West Nile virus, Rift Valley fever, malaria, and others, and finally waterborne infectious diseases such as cholera. When we think about space and health, first of all, we focus on the citizen and therefore on e-health technologies that could benefit of research that has been carried out in the space medicine domain, particularly focusing on International Space Station medical operations, as well as the long-lasting heritage of the moon landing missions 50 years ago. Nowadays, Earth observation offers a set of applications, resources, and data on a continuous basis, which can be extremely useful for teleepidemiology applications that could have a significant impact on communities that are both part of ESA member states, but they could also be of global nature. When we extend the knowledge that has been acquired through these two kind of space applications, we can envision even the development of research in space analogs, where telemedicine applications could benefit of integrated services and could eventually evolve towards civil society applications, non-governmental organizations, collaborations, and so on. There is then a fourth layer, which is focused on member states, which could benefit already of services such as the Charter for Space and Major Disasters, that was invoked also for the Ebola crisis in Africa, as well as institutional programs that are linked to the United Nations Agenda 2030. And then the next level is to think about regional agencies, or for example the European Union or the African Union or the European Space Agency, that could develop dedicated programs such as Copernicus and Galileo and pilot projects within these two kind of programs, such as, for example, GMES for Africa and other programs where space and health could be embedded. And the last level is the United Nations, which through the UN COPUOS and the UN OSA and other UN specialized agencies could leverage capacity building, dissemination of information, creation of coordinated mechanisms at international level, definition of policy frameworks to make effective the use of space for health. I'm very pleased to find all of you connected to us today to discuss about Earth observation, artificial intelligence, global health, and urban resilience. We mostly are used to discuss these topics among us within the space community, which represents the supply side of the equation. What is really important is also that we start discussing and involving the users, the local actors in the medical field, in order to address as well the demand side, which is in fact the starting point, is the point where we collect requirements, where we understand needs, and is the community that we would like to work together to co-design the Earth observation applications of the future. Therefore, for us, engaging and establishing dialogue mechanisms with the key stakeholders is a strong priority. There are different elements around which global health is peculiar in terms of international policies. We can think about climate change and the COP21, for example. We can think about the Sustainable Development Goals and SDG number 3, which is focusing on health. We can also think about the Disaster Charter and the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. All of these policy frameworks are very important for us to reflect upon and to define the best mechanisms to work together for the benefit of developing future applications that are really meaningful in the field. When we think about how to best establish a dialogue with the field actors in particular, we should ask ourselves how important is it for us, is it for the space community to listen to the actual needs on the field, which means how to focus on user-centered service design models. The second element, which I would like to bring to your attention, is to seriously consider when space-based solutions are indeed the best and most cost-effective. And to achieve that, what we can propose is to have a sort of technology help desk, where we can address the needs of the users and we can then establish the priorities for the development of future applications. The third point is that we would like to exploit the full potential of space for managing the environmental and the local effects of climate change, in particular for teleepidemiology applications, but this may include also education, logistics management. All of these should occur with the involvement of local actors. And the fourth element is in fact focusing on a challenge, which is not really how to create new space infrastructure, but it is how to use the existing infrastructure, the existing satellites and data, and its functionalities in an even better way, and through this, contributing to the achievement of the SDGs across a broad spectrum of individual goals, with a particular focus in this case on SDG number 3, which is good health and well-being, which aim to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. In the framework of this workshop and beyond that, we aim at implementing an open innovation, open science, and open knowledge approach. We try through this framework to address four main questions. The first one is, where has space already proven useful in the health domain, and which programs currently exist, in particular in the Earth observation domain? The second question is, where does it appear that space has been underused? Can we further exploit the value of big data, including space data, epidemiological data, and social datasets? The third question is, what is the current dynamic and who are the relevant actors that we need to include in these discussions around health and urban resilience? What are the current dialogue fora and what are the current tools? Are there actors that at the moment are overlooked? And the fourth question is, how can we create a sustainable dialogue and which new fora and tools are advisable? Are we fully addressing and exploiting the value of artificial intelligence and big data analytics in this context? Which programmatic tools can we envision for the future? And how can we make the most beneficial outcome of the Earth observation for society framework of the European Space Agency? It is now my honor and pleasure to introduce the workshop to you. The first session will be a plenary session with very distinguished keynote speakers. It will be followed by a session dedicated to human health and vector-borne diseases. The third session will be focusing on human health and waterborne diseases. The fourth session will focus on urban resilience, looking at the different aspects of environmental monitoring, which is critical in this case for healthy living of citizens in this context. And the fifth session will be focusing on artificial intelligence for Earth observation, outlining the tools which are available out there to work together with these different communities in order to achieve a better living for all on this planet. Thank you, everybody. I wish you a very successful workshop, and I look forward to the key recommendations that will stem out of these very fruitful and intense presentations during the day. Thank you very much.